Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday, March 2nd. The time is 6:02 p.m., and I will call to order the meeting of the Norwalk Bike Walk Commission. I am Emily Berneman, currently serving as chair, joined by Nick Pappas, Christina Randall, and Brian Clark, commissioners, as well as Greg Pacelli and Ben Young from Norwalk TMP and Dialing Bird. Okay, on our agenda tonight, I think even before we start with public participation, just to make sure we make use of Ben's time here, we have an announcement from Ben. So if you're ready, Ben, I'll kick it over to you to start with this announcement.
For sure, lovely. It's maybe a little bit longer than an announcement, just so you're clear. Maybe like 5 to 10
Oh,
minutes.
yep.
Okay.
Sorry. Yep. Go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, there's some exciting news, and actually, I'll share my screen if that's possible. So WestCog, the Western Connecticut, excuse me, Western Connecticut Council of Governments, they've received a raise grant for what's called the Western Connecticut Regional Trail Project. So just give me one moment here. All right, you guys can all see this.
Yes.
Great. So the Western Connecticut Council of Governments, which is kind of like the semi-county like uh, body that kind of organizes the municipalities in our area. Um, so they've put together this grant application, and they won um, I think over $5 million in federal money to study and advance the design of trails in Western Connecticut. The Norwalk River Valley Trail, the beloved NRVT, is the primary component of that. Um, there are also some other components of trail networks up in Danbury. So it includes the NRVT. It includes what's called the Still River Greenway Trail, and then also the New Milford River Trail. So, um, so the WestCog has their consultant Stantec working on this, and I'm sort of the representative from the city of Norwalk for this particular project. Um, I'm part of what's called the PAC, the Project Advisory Committee. So. Um, the scope of work, it varies a little depending on which trail segment it is. Some um, trail segments are further along in concept than others. For us in Norwalk, the section that they're really going to be focusing on is the Norwalk segment from Broad Street to Grist Mill. And I actually have a slightly probably a better map for that, if you bear with me. So this is kind of the main NRVT map,
Mm,
if you can see that. So it's the section from Broad Street up past Gristmill. So the part that's a mix of colors right now because there's so much that's kind of undetermined here. Um, there's several different alignments of the trail that we're looking at, and it's tough because we are having to coordinate a lot with DOT on their Route 7/15 interchange project, uh, which is overhauling the entire interchange here, and um, the NRVT, we're closely coordinating with DOT on finding a path forward through that intersection. So um, there's a lot uh, that we're focusing on here, and then it's going to have to tie into various trail segments both to the south and to the north. So the scope of WestCog's project is just the segments to the south and north, and then the Route 715 design team, they're working on the actual section of trail going beneath or through the interchange. And we're really pushing the design team to make sure that they accommodate bicyclists and pedestrians safely through the intersection or through the interchange, whichever alignment they choose. So,
Ben,
um,
really quick, I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt. Are you guys, like in your expertise, do you have a preferred alignment for getting the NRVT
through
through the
through the
interchange?
interchange.
Yeah.
So our most preferred alignment is actually to use a so there's the Danbury line, right? The Metro North Danbury line. They kind of have a wide rail bay, and we had reached the idea with Metro North to use kind of the second or part of their rail bay to align the trail and just run through there. That would separate it quite a bit from the heavy traffic volume and noise along Route 7. Um, and our kind of thought was uh, right now the Danbury line is single track, which means that they run both directions on the same track. Um, and it seemed, admittedly to us, maybe unlikely that they would ever go to double track, and therefore they wouldn't need to use that extra space. Um, so Connecticut Rails, they got back to us and they said, although we don't have any plans in the immediate future, we wouldn't really be in favor of you guys using that for the trail. So, um, so although
Well,
that
good
was our
for
preferred,
them. Yeah.
so although that was our preferred alignment, I mean it's good for, potential rail expansion in the future. So now we're you know working with Condot on trying to get it through the interchange itself without having too many at-grade crossings. We want to minimize um, the number of at-grade street level crossings that cyclists will have to do because it will be a very busy and potentially fast interchange. So um,
All
there's
right.
uh,
Thank you.
there's a lot in discussion right now, and there's going to be a lot of coordination through the course of this study. This is it's going to be at least like a 12 to 18 month study to get these
Gotcha.
sections to 100% design.
All
Um,
right. Keep guiding them in the right direction. We're trusting you.
well, so I'm not the only one though. So I mean, uh, the consultant team, they asked the municipal representatives to support them with public engagement, being that we're a little closer to our individual respective communities. Um, so in turn, I'm turning to you guys as the Bike Walk Commission, as residents of Norwalk, to help, in certain events that you may already be a part of or attending in the near future. And what the consultant Stantec is going to be doing is they have like a public engagement person on their team, and they're going to be putting together this kit. With like a script of what to say to members of the public about the project. They're going to include some flyers. I'm not sure if they're going to include any like NRVT swag or something, but they're I think doing a lot to make it as easy as possible for us on the front end to just take this kit and go out to the public and let people know about the project basically. So so my thought was, um, you guys have, some events of your own, and as far as I know, you also might be participating in certain other city events like the Sono Saturday markets, um, or uh, Pride in the Park potentially, things like that. Um, so what I'm asking is if you guys are part of some of those events, um, you know, it would be great if you could help to also spread the word about this particular project. And I'll be in close coordination with you guys through Greg and make sure you guys are looped in on whatever public engagement materials I get from Westcog's consultant, and I can pass all that along. in the coming months. They're looking to finalize this public engagement package, I think, by the end of April. So it might even be ready for Earth Day, though I can't guarantee that.
Great. Thank you, Ben. This is really exciting, and I'm glad we have WestCog, kind of, and your assistance in the pack for this project. As the Bike Walk Commission, and like you were saying, areas that we can support in this really, fundamentally aligned with our mission kind of project. You mentioned the kit may have um, more information about the project and ways to educate the community on the benefits of this, or is it more so just the project itself and what the trail, having that trail there would mean, or is it, I guess I'm trying to
Um,
understand, yeah, what the kit is exactly.
to be honest, I haven't seen it, and I think it's still in their development. So I think there's some room, they might be able to play with it. I think the purpose though is to partly educate or reach out to the public about the trail project and what's going on, just like what we would do for our own city projects. Uh, show some of the concept designs, show some of the ideas for um, what the trail could look like and the potential alignments and whatnot. Um, and then I think maybe the other part of this is to get some feedback. Maybe there might be like a comments form of some sort that they're developing. I think it's going to be online. That's what they said. So they might give something like a QR code for people to scan, and then they can plug in their comments about where the trail should be or what sort of trail amenities there should be. Things like that. That would be part of the online comment form.
And the other thing you brought up, and I just want to make sure because I don't know if everyone has the map and those the trail segments. I don't know if you have it available, but if you could pull up, I'm trying to find it too, the map of the
The
NRVT with those colors.
Yeah, so
And
this one right here is from the
mm,
website actually. This is
right.
I can send a
And
link
so
to this.
perfect. And I just wanted to clarify too the difference in those colors and what that means. Like the
Oh,
yellow is the
yeah.
trail
It's a little,
study plan, orange is under discussion, green is in design construction. So this project would, fingers crossed, hopefully be turning all these colors to under construction. It would build
mhm,
not only
yeah.
support but also, funding for completing this segment of the trail. That's
I
the end
will I
goal.
I will say I don't think construction is a part of the scope of this project. It's just to get it to be shovel ready, basically, to be construction ready plans. Um, so the so this Westcog study will get this to a point where we could have design plans that we could get future construction grant funding for. Um, and that would be the yellow segment and this orange and yellow segment up here. The little green segment right here, that would be
Mhm.
covered under the Route 715 interchange project, which DOT is currently under design for. That's why that's already um, green. So like that's, you know, I guess being part of the interchange, that's something that's definitely happening, even though I don't know if DOT has a hard timeline on, when they're going to actually go out to bid with that, because I think it's been pushed, admittedly, many, several years at this point, but
Mhm.
it's definitely happening. So that's the idea there.
Okay. So it's primarily for design and like you said, shovel ready kind of
Yeah.
guidance.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of planning even before we get to design. Like I said, the alignment itself is not, um, it hasn't been fully finalized and chosen. So there's different alternatives that we'll be working through. We have property owners to coordinate with DOT, of course, whether we go through the interchange or right along the river. There's a coordination with DEEP for that sort of thing as well. So that's part of the process over the next 12 to 18 months.
Great. I guess to your point, again, I know as the Bike Walk Commission, we're involved in community events. Upcoming ones include the Norwalk Earth Day Festival, Pride in the Park. We can definitely, if we have material about this, or now that we, have some understanding of this project, which is, I'm really excited to hear it's happening.
Are you guys planning to participate in a regular way with either the Sono Saturday Market or the Wall Street Sunset Market, which is new this year?
Oh, I did hear an announcement about the
Sunset Market?
Sunset on Wall Street. Thank you. I know we spoke in our strategic plan about doing events across Norwalk, so expanding our efforts to include not only South Norwalk but East Norwalk, Wall Street area. Getting more north. I know we've committed to Earth Day so far, and I know Becca Stoll, who isn't here tonight, gave me an update about Pride in the Park. I don't know if we've gotten much further than that for future events, but we did participate last year in this South Norwalk Saturday markets, or the Sono Saturday markets.
Mhm.
So potentially we will do that again. And primarily our effort was to provide bike valet. So it would be,
Oh, okay.
very relevant to that, though, for people biking in from the northern area of Norwalk to these events, to have that pathway. Even, let's say people from Wilton want to be able to bike to South Norwalk to get groceries. I mean, this would be a really safe way to do it, is along that NRVT path, knowing that there
Yeah.
are some on-road segments, but it would be nice to extend that opportunity to families and neighbors nearby. So
Yeah, I
I
know there's a strong contingent of ASML employees, I think, that would love to bike on a mixed use path all the way from Norwalk to Wilton. So
we may have an employee here that may want to confirm or
Chime
deny
in
that.
on that one.
Yeah. I don't
so
know, Nick.
so yeah,
What
this
do you
is
think?
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
if you want to
Yeah.
get the word out about this design project even to fellow ASML employees, that's even better. So whatever you
Awesome.
guys can do to help would be wonderful. So I know when Earth Day and Pride in the Park are, yeah, if you guys want to discuss, whether you'll have the capacity to have like a table or something at the Sono Saturday Market, you can think about it and let me know. I'm just trying to uh, help ease communication between the Westcog team and you guys as well. So
Perfect. Well, I'll make a note here to follow up for our next meeting in April to see, if the kits are available, if there's any, digital flyers or information on, the project and what we can,
okay.
read ourselves, but also help spread the word. And that would be great. Yeah. I do see we have a member of the public with their hand raised. I believe Jody Trendler. If you had a question for Ben, go ahead. Ooh. Jody, your audio is not coming through. Oh, can we turn that off? Sorry, was that just me or?
No, it sounded like she was in the shower.
Yeah.
It's so strange. I think that happened. Oh, Jody. It's not working for whatever reason. Sorry, Jody. Okay. With that, I guess any other questions or comments for Ben on this project from the public or from commissioners? Okay. Well, thank you, Ben, for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to our next agenda item here, which is public participation. Jody, I'm sorry that your mic is not working, but if there are any other members of the public that would like to speak or introduce themselves, I see we have a few members here. Please go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, I did just get a text from Jody, and she said the task force can help too. Awesome. For those who don't know, it's the Jody Chandler is our Director of Sustainability and Resilience, and she's put together a task force kind of all encompassing in sustainability. And it sounds like she's volunteering to help with communicating this project, which is great. Thank you, Jody. Okay, then with that, I will move on to our next agenda item here, which is, oh, there's the West Cog Trail Project. I'm so sorry. It was right after public participation. Okay, moving on to acceptance of the minutes. Can I entertain a motion to approve our special meeting on February 9th, 2026? Manny, thank you. Can I get a second? Nick, thank you. Third, Brian, all in favor? And so approved. Thank you all. Okay, moving on to old business. So kind of like we were talking about before, we have some 2026 events coming up. Christina, I will hand this over to you as you've been participating in the steering committee for the Earth Day Festival.
Not many updates since the last meeting, since I was unable to attend this most recent steering committee meeting. However, not much has moved on my end. Nathan Hale is still the starting point. I had coordinated with another walk leader via email to make sure that we were staggering times. I think it's a woman that leads the walk from Wall Street, the Wall Street area. I had last spoken with Emily, I think her last name is Morgan, on the steering committee, who told me she'd be connecting me with representatives at Nathan Hale just to confirm it as the starting location. But on a Saturday, I don't know that it really needs to be confirmed so much as just looking to spread the word, since I think, the direction of it is that it's going to be a family-oriented walk. I just want to, echo a lot of the steering committee sentiments that it'll be a nice show of joy down a place that needs some sidewalks. So yeah, that's where everything lays. I guess I touched base with some of the leadership of Sustainable Streets Norwalk to try to get some of the people in that, because I know that they're also on their own pushing for the installation of sidewalks along Lockwood. So yeah, family oriented. Um, I haven't reached out to any of the neighborhood associations yet. I believe some other commissioners have personal ties. So, yeah, I mean, as far as details go, it's a Saturday walk parade to the Earth. Oh, sorry, that's my dog barking. To the Earth Day Festival on the Green, and it'll probably be starting sometime between 11 and 12, aiming to get to the green a little early, or at least at the start or near the start of the festival itself. Oh, one thing I was trying to coordinate with Jack Pavia, who is interning at the Norwalk Transit District, was arranging some walk or some ride shares to and from the Wheels to You service, shuttle service, maybe getting like two rides interspersed so that people with strollers or whoever doesn't want to have to walk back to Nathan Hale, that there'll be intervals where they can catch a shuttle. And, it'll be a predetermined time that ideally we could put on the announcement form to kind of lure people who are otherwise put off by the idea of walking all the way there and having to walk all the way back.
That's a great idea. And I know in the past too, for the Earth Day event, they even like wrapped one of the Wheels to You shuttles with an Earth Day logo. So I'm hoping, yeah, that would be great if you can connect with Jack and see if that's
Oh, awesome.
possible.
Okay. If there's precedent, that's even better.
That would be great. The other person that came to mind as you were talking about neighborhood associations is Anthony Pavia with the City Hall Neighborhood Association. I think I have his contact information. I'd be happy to make the introduction to you. He might even be a part of the steering committee, or he's been involved with the Bike Walk Commission before, and we've worked on projects together in the past. So I'll definitely make a point to connect you with him as well. He's great.
I'm actually so I haven't met him, but I am familiar with him as having, met with members of Sustainable Streets and looking how everyone can kind of band together to show support for the sidewalks on Lockwood Lane. So I have heard his name and I would appreciate an introduction. That'd be great.
Great. And there's no relation between Anthony Pavia and Jack Pavia, which is what I thought originally, but they're not apparently related. But perfect. That's great. I'm glad to hear Earth Day is on a roll. And I know we also it came up in our meeting in our in our education committee meeting. So I'm sure we'll move on to that next. But I'm glad to hear you've in contact with the steering committee and we're making steps forward for the walking parade. Joanna Van Zetter is the other person that would be very helpful in addition to Emily Morgan for orchestrating kind of the parade itself. She, along with a bunch of other entities in the police department, put together a walking parade for orientation, which you were a part of actually, Christina, the South Norwalk Elementary School. So we mentioned this to her that you were planning this walking parade, and she, was all for it. So she offered her assistance there as well. So we'll definitely
Fantastic.
bring her into that conversation. Yeah. Okay, great. So it is confirmed Norwalk Earth Day on the Green is Saturday, April 27th, for those who don't know. And I'm really excited about the walking parade to really encourage, especially with the Safe Routes to School program and all the work that Norwalk has done to improve that and the sidewalks going in. We're hoping to keep that momentum going.
I
Great.
got double checked on that date. I've got the 27th as a Monday on my calendar.
Oh, no, that might have been me who messed that up. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Emily,
Thank
I
you for
have the
catching that.
25th, Saturday the 25th.
Yes. Okay, that I will have to correct in the agenda. That was my error. I apologize. I think that's from last year. But the correct, it is April 25th, Saturday, April 25th.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for catching that. Yep. Okay. Anything else for Earth Day? I know we'll get a head start too. There's a lot of tabling with our different organizations, but the other thing we want to offer for Earth Day is bike valet. And I know I brought this up in the last meeting, but we'll send out an email this month requesting volunteers and getting a schedule set up so that we can get ahead of that and have the transportation all ready to go. And so we can kind of divide and conquer not only the valet, but the walking parade and make sure we have enough support to orchestrate both those pieces of the event. Okay. With that, I will move on to new business here, which is our education and outreach in our educational subcommittee. Manny, can I hand this over to you to kind of give a synopsis of the
Sure,
meeting?
and
Oh,
I invite Elizabeth to fill in any gaps that I might have missed as well. So we had a subcommittee meeting last week, and one of the things I'm glad you brought that up, Christina, because one of the things we were talking about was using Wheels to You or some kind of transit to get participants who were in the walk back to Nathan Hale Middle School. But then also, one of my idealistic dreams is that a lot of the people who participate would be from the neighborhood. But I mean, I think that's also a really good option though to have in case people park there because there isn't a lot of parking on the green to begin with, and so that actually would be kind of cool too. Um, we also were talking about the utilization of law enforcement for that walk parade. One of the things we entertained was not using law enforcement just because that would be an expense. And I personally feel like there could be, if there's a possibility to not have to utilize, you know, law enforcement, then I'd be for it so that we can save money and like it eases the logistical side of things as well. And so I wanted to bring that up to everybody as well. Um, we also discussed an upcoming date for Bike Walk and Roll Day, which is on May 6th, and trying to figure out what that could look like. I think it's still up in the air. I know I know schools might be signing up, um, but yeah, so we were thinking about that. And going back to the Earth Day event, we also talked about utilizing like flags when people were walking. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking over my notes. Trying to think here. I know, Emily, you brought up the educational speakers when we were talking to Amy Watkins, and so that's
Mhm.
something that we are. Um, I don't know. We're trying to find some connections with that. Is there anything I missed, Elizabeth?
I don't think so, but why was my memory that like the walk roll to school was already happening, or like that there is already a date and signups from the schools?
You might
Oh,
be right. I mean, because I know the schools do it independently from us.
Okay.
Even, we just kind of are there to either show up to the event. So there might be some schools that are probably showing up because it's like the national event. So you're probably
Oh,
right.
okay. Yeah. Um, I think that covers it.
I just remembered I did have notes from that meeting too, and I apologize, Manny. So,
You're good.
uh, we did talk about exactly what you were saying. In addition to, I know Joanna had mentioned an open street event planning for the big thing though is that bike walk roll to school day. And to your point, Elizabeth, I think tomorrow is the day registration opens. And to your point, Manny, each school enrolls to participate in the event, which is officially on Wednesday, May 6th. And so Joanna had mentioned potentially collaborating with the Bike Walk Commission on another open street event the weekend before to help entice families and the opportunity to promote the event at something like what we've done in the past on Calf Pasture Beach for uh, an open street kind of bike rodeo, but activity focused um, event that would help families come out and ride and learn and get the information they need for bike walk roll to school day on Wednesday, May 6th. I did learn from Jalea that on Saturday, May 2nd, there's the Norwalk for Mental Health Walk. And so I know that's something that as the Bike Walk Commission, it would be really great for us to participate in. I don't think we've done that yet. So that would be important for us to do as well. So I don't know if the open street event is very plausible for the weekend before, but in terms of preparing and what we can accomplish before Wednesday, May 6th, it could be either promoting it at the events that we're already attending, like Earth Day, and encouraging kids virtually or partnering with the schools, something like that. But especially if we're doing this, walking parade from Nathan Hale, it may be a good opportunity, at least in that school zone area to promote bike walk roll to school day. So there's other ways we could tie it into the other things we're doing, I guess is where we were going. But it also brought up the point, and I think that's why I added it to the agenda, is tentatively what it would look like to plan another open street event. And it could be in the spring, it could be in the fall, but it may be something we want to do, especially with the public school systems, in terms of getting to school on foot or on bike for elementary school students or middle school students. It kind of ties together. So I'm curious what the commission has, any thoughts or comments on these activities.
I mean, I think I feel like Joanna bringing up the Open Streets event really solidified, like, there's still people. I mean, I think the community would still want it, right? And I had heard that, it's always been there's been a positive reception on the event itself, but I think Joanna bringing it up again, I think made me really think more about, like, wow, we should definitely bring it back, and like at what capacity and where. I mean, I think the fall, I know, gets crazy for the schools, but I know that time frame when the beaches, we do it at Calf Pasture, but I know we've also discussed with, Greg's also mentioned other sites as well, and so trying to solidify what that would look like. I don't know. I think it feels like the time is so limited, but yet, I think there's opportunity for do. I guess all that to say that my ears are perked and I'm interested in figuring out how we can make another one.
I was just gonna add to that it feels like there's a lot going on in late April and early May that we might overextend ourselves. So perhaps if we want to do something, an open streets event, the fall would be nice. Maybe it could be spooky. Maybe it could be like a Halloween spooky situation. I don't
I think
know.
that'd be great.
Yeah, and would get a lot of kids, and a lot of families, and would give a nice break between. We could kind of anchor around the Earth Day event in April and then work toward an open streets event in
Would
the
be kind
fall.
of cool to, yeah, like, and Halloween's in it. I know we're really far away from Halloween, but I do like the fall because I know the weather can sometimes be unpredictable, but with like rain, but Halloween is like one of the biggest, most walkable events that happens
Yeah.
in America. And like there's all, fall festival season and even trunk or treat, right? Like we can
Hmm.
connect, like we can take
Yeah.
over a parking lot
Sorry,
and
sorry
yeah.
to interrupt, but there will be plenty of time to plan for the fall and, talk about what we're going to do for Halloween. It was my understanding that the point of kind of stacking things in April and early May is to lay the groundwork for this walk roll to school thing and like preparing and advertising for the walk roll to school event happening on May 6th. Um, and so, like, am I right in that the open streets ideas at Calf Pasture, Tracy Magnet, and Brian McMahon are all trying to be stacked uh,
Oh,
in that window, or we're trying to pick, those are potential locations to do one ahead of time. Okay, I see.
But I
Yeah,
was
I
we
also
mean,
gonna
were,
I
yeah,
think we
go
should
ahead.
try to shoehorn something in there because the more opportunities, the better to, and even the weekend right before, it makes people all the more likely to come out on walk
I think
roll.
to Elizabeth's point though, and the reason why I was mentioning like the end of October was because I do think the spring already feels pretty stacked. Like May 6th is like if we look at the calendar, April 25th is Earth Day weekend event, right? And then it's like that week is bike walk to roll day,
Hmm.
and then and then May 1st or May the mental health walk is May 2nd. So it's these are like very back to back
I
events, which
guess
isn't
I
bad,
don't
but
really
like
have a great understanding of roll to school. Is there usually like a large group that participates? I feel like last year it got rained out, and that was like the first year I was really or like really paying attention. Is there typically a large group of people rolling, or is it mostly walkers? Because I just
Mainly
feel like, yeah,
walkers.
we have walks coming up on Earth Day or the walk for mental health, but then what about the rolling? Like, are people just going to be like randomly coming out on the streets to roll to school? Are they going to feel comfortable and supported doing that without, a little something beforehand? Of like, oh
It
yeah,
really,
dust off your bike, inflate the tires, get your kid's helmet out and make sure it fits the weekend before you're supposed to be rolling to
Mhm.
school in the middle of the week.
Right. Well, it's a good point, and it depends on the school and the support in the community of the school. Typically, we'll see some schools have a lot of participation and encouragement, and other schools don't know it's happening, or other schools don't even sign up to do it. So, in terms of where we, kind of play into this is, which schools are actively wanting to do it and need support and asking for that sort of support to have a larger event and turnout versus encouraging schools who don't participate to get on board and then offer those support things like helmets, lights, educational pieces preemptively before the event, but also on the day of the event, as long as it's not rained out. To your point, I know that happened last year, but in years prior, we had like food and breakfast and music and all sorts of nice little handouts from not only the Bike Walk Commission but the health department. Jalea and the public schools had all these really good pieces, and then we had a lot of parents come in with kids on bikes or scooters. I think I saw more scooters than I would have guessed for kids, and it was nice to connect with the parents too. So I think PTAs would also be a good
Yeah,
niche to
and
kind
and
of
maybe it doesn't
engage
have to
with.
be so big too. Maybe it could just be
Hmm.
like, come get your kid's bike tuned up before walk roll to school. Come get your kid's scooter tires oiled before walk roll to school next Wednesday. It can be a little 2-hour window thing.
Definitely. I think promotion
Even
of the
just the
event, even
flyer is
that,
a reminder.
right. I agree. I think with that said too, it also, to Elizabeth's point, it could be an opportunity for the Bike Walk Commission to promote events happening later this year if it is something where we're doing open streets, having like a save the date, like this is, and not even just for open streets, but there's another bike walk roll to school day, like in the fall for back to school. So it's, not only opportunities to promote these events, but also to give out the safety information, especially, another target kind of audience we don't really touch on too much is high school students and new drivers. Like we haven't really done that like aspect of this event, but there are so many opportunities to expand on this. So it would be great to participate and get more schools involved and students involved. That said, I think for this event, an action item here is we'll continue to talk about it in our education committee. The registration opens tomorrow, so encouraging the schools. I think we have a list that we worked with Joanna on last year to get the schools enrolled, and then did a reach out. I know Jalea, you and I at some point, and Manny had done like a list of all the schools that participated in the past and kind of a connection between those, and then seeing which schools would want to partner with the Bike Walk Commission or work with the Bike Walk Commission for further support and maybe even like sponsorship for the safety information or a safety day or something like that. But I know we're not the only ones involved. I know Safe Routes to School also does this with schools and tries to encourage participation and registration. So there's a lot of ways we can be helpful here.
And I
Okay.
know I'm the one talking a big game about adding, more events to an already stacked spring season, but I will absolutely be on the front lines volunteering at these things. So I'll see y'all there.
What would be great too is if we could have like a little event gathering at the library potentially, or something
Yes, let me
encouraging.
know.
Because
I will sneak y'all on the schedule.
I was gonna say a great way to engage with especially the public, and I'm sure the library does a lot of school-oriented events and things like that. Finding a way to collaborate or build on that sort of thing with the public library would be amazing too. Another great outreach sort of opportunity. Okay. So with that, I think that was most of the lists here. That was my notes from
So
our
I just want to
education
clarify, we're
committee.
going to
I put
discuss further at the education subcommittee potentially how to promote bike walk and rule, right? Okay.
Yes, I think that makes sense.
And we are gonna try for an open streets in the spring or hold it.
I think that's
I
what's
don't
up for
really-
discussion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
up for
really know what
discussion.
is involved in any of like setting that up, so I'd also be curious to
You know
understand
what?
that.
In our next meeting, I might add it to the agenda to do a quick review of our past Open Street event and what that work entailed, because there was a lot of work with the traffic authority and planning for the routes and closures and things like that. But that would be a good opportunity to revisit that. So thank you, Elizabeth. And I think that's a great idea to walk through how to get that done in our next meeting.
Greg has some input on that.
Oh no. Hey, Greg.
No, we'll talk about it next meeting. This way you can outline it. I'm just going to say if you're planning on doing an event in the springtime, I think that ship has sailed. Only because there is a lot of hoops you have to jump through in order to get it approved in time for the summer beyond what we can provide. You know, you have to go in front of the traffic authority for road closures. You have to hire police. You have to coordinate for additional city staff to be there to set up the road closure signs and cones. So we can discuss that more in depth the next meeting.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe it doesn't have to be an open streets thing then, and we'll just figure out how to scale it.
Mm-hmm.
There's many other locations that can be utilized off street that doesn't require the amount of approvals that you have to get in order to make it happen on the street.
Right. Definitely. It's definitely worth bringing up again. So we'll add it to the agenda. We'll continue to talk about it in the subcommittee. And to your point, Christina, if it's not at Calf Pasture Beach, other opportunities, maybe Tracy Magnet School, right? McMahon School has a giant parking lot as well for some sort of, activity there. But we have options, which is great. But to your point, Greg, absolutely. There was a lot of time and effort in, that event that we had done in the past, and it did take months to get there. So thank you for saying that. Okay. With that, any other comments on school-based events or education and outreach? Okay. The next item on the agenda was the bike walk and roll to school day. So we tied into that. We will notify Norwalk schools of the event registration tomorrow. We can reach out to our contacts in the public school. We'll work with Joanna to make sure the schools know about it and next steps on getting involved. Sidewalk snow removal and winter walking safety. Okay. So here we did receive a note from Jim about a post from the Norwalk Police Department, and I wanted to share that. If I can find it very quickly, sorry. Okay. Oh, let me share my screen. Oh, can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So this was posted by the Norwalk Police Department, and the good news here is that we are seeing an awareness in our streets and fewer pedestrian incidents on our streets. Motor vehicle accidents are also down from 2024 to 2025. Part of that is, proactive law enforcement, enhanced infrastructure, and then our public education and awareness. I think this is another good opportunity, and the reason I bring it up, to work with the police department. I know we have some community contacts there that have, in the past, we've talked about doing e-bike education seminars and combining efforts to not only participate in these public events for safety, but also to have more educational and awareness opportunities. So with that, I know, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're at the end of all this snowfall. But I know, especially this year, we've seen so much snow and issues with crosswalks. I just want to also reiterate the use of the Click and Request app for issues with crosswalks and sidewalks not being shoveled, using that so that the city can be aware of those issues and get it, pointed or passed on to the right person to take care of those issues as well. But it was really just to bring up this great news for the city of Norwalk and also continue to support pedestrians and cyclists as they navigate through Norwalk, especially in winter conditions, which are icy and snowy and not typical if sidewalks are blocked. I think that was it for this.
While we have that graphic up, I just wanted to say, or just for posterity's sake, that these, regressions in bad things, motor vehicle accidents and pedestrian accidents over the last year happened during the first year that the city is operating under Complete Streets legislation. So I just want to make that connection for the record.
I do like that. That's a very good point. Any other comments from other commissioners or thoughts? Okay. Next item here is our commission budget and grants for discussion. So I know we have budget to spend, and I know we've talked about spending on a few things, but we haven't voted to spend anything yet. So I wanted, before I get started here, to see if there were any commissioners. I think specifically right now, the one I have on my list is actually Brian, who you mentioned being interested in attending the league certification course. Is that still the case?
That is still the case, and I have started the online classes in order to be able to attend.
Excellent. Okay, yes, and I did hear from Jalea. She set you up for the educator courses, and you guys connected about next steps and what that kind of looks like.
Absolutely.
Perfect. The other question I had actually was when that course is, but I believe the cost of the course is about $350 for the in-part session. So after you complete the first part, which is all online, there's an in-person certification course. And I believe they host it in New Haven once a year, but let me see if they have it posted yet. Oh, okay. So there's one in Simsbury in April. So 4/24 here. I'll share my screen so you can see this too. I don't know if you are available on April 24th, but it looks like they have posted this course in person in Simsbury, and it would be, oh, I'm sorry, it's not in April. That's when the registration closes in April. It would be May 15th to May 17th in Simsbury.
I had a quick question about the registration fee, because I had looked into this too, and on their website it says the registration fee is $550. Is it different if you're like a city organization or something?
Ah,
Yeah.
it may be different because we're members, but I'd
Okay.
have to go look at the cost from, our receipt with Jalea, and then depending on that
When I was
cost,
looking at
it might have gone up.
the spend planned, and it said Christine had done it, it was $280 allocated then. And so I just wondered if it's gone up that significantly by then, or if there's a loophole, but that's something worth looking into.
Okay, that's a really good point, and I haven't dove into that yet. Let me see.
And
if I can
also on
find-
that same document, the spend planning, it said that the bike league membership in the League of
Mhm.
American Cyclists was $50. That has since gone up to 75 as well, if we're going to register for an annual membership. So just, I know I said I'd be conversational about these numbers. I
Inflation.
wish I had like better news.
No, thank you for catching those. Yeah, I haven't updated the sheet. I see the sheet where it says that now. Okay, yes. Wow, that's a change, but yeah. I mean, the goal is to have another league certified instructor.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we do want that, and we are members and we pay annually, yep, $50, but I I wonder if we can be, I guess I'll have to clarify this before we approve spending on it to see if this is the cost.
Mm-hmm.
If not, if it's less than that, that would be great. But that is, yeah, the goal is to get Brian also certified so that we have another LCI for the city of Norwalk.
Yeah.
Emily, just to add on to this, I believe that each individual LCI needs a membership as well. So like I have my own membership that the health department has funded to pay for.
Really?
And that I paid for that, I think, after I became an LCI.
Yes, I'm
Even
looking
when I was
for
going through the process, I
$50.
honestly can't remember. But
Oh,
just to let you know, I can double check that for you so that you're aware of the extra cost if there is one, but I have my own individual membership because that's
okay.
how you get all of the
Resources.
yeah, the resources as an LCI and everything.
Okay. I'm having, yeah, a memory of Christine saying maybe the same thing, that she pays for her own membership in addition for the commission having their own membership. So that sounds like it might be correct then.
I'm on
And then that would add
the
into our, yeah,
I'm on the
budget spend.
membership page now, and the individual fee is $50 annually, and then the fee for an advocacy organization, which that's what we are, a local one, is $75.
I can pull up our past receipts for our membership to see, but I know originally the intention here was to approve spending on this so that we can at least start, spending some of our budget that we do need to spend by June. If it works for the commission, can we tentatively say, even depending on the cost, if there is some variance between the $550 for the class for Brian, in addition to the $50 membership fee, around $600 to get Brian certified and an LCI?
Yeah,
Would that
I'm
sound fair?
supportive of that. Yeah, I'm still committed. I just want us to all be aware of the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm comfortable approving the spend. I think if our goal is to do it and we've got the money left in the budget to do it, then we should spend the money.
I agree 100%.
Okay, with that, then can I entertain a motion to spend for Brian's certification course the amount of $550 plus the $50 membership fee, anticipating that that would be part of it? So $600 total. Okay, Libby, thank you. Manny, thank you. All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you all. Okay, perfect. So that's $600. Thank you, Brian, for taking this course too. I know it takes time and effort, and I appreciate your volunteering to do this. Great. Okay. We will get you on there. Oh, and I'm so sorry I didn't, I started with if that date works for you, the May 15th to May 17th. I got sidetracked. I apologize. Does that work for you, those days? I guess it's too late to ask now. You're signed up. You're going.
I forgot to unmute myself. May 15th through 17th, I will make it happen.
Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate you. Okay, great. So we have a little budget spend. Anyone else with ideas or spending or budget items that they want to bring to the table? Some ideas from the past. We now have a beautiful printed tent. We have flags. We talked about swag versus having educational speakers. We still have an inventory in the Yankee Doodle garage of things that we can give away. I know the other thing was programming, so digital flyers or print flyers, things like that for the Bike Walk Commission. One thing I would really love to do is get updated business cards or stickers with our information on it and our domains so that we can continue to drive people to our online resources when we have these in-person events. So one idea for spend from my perspective would be for updated business cards, kind of like the customer service cards. And I thought I had one on hand here that the city has. I don't have them. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. No, yes. Okay, so this is an old version. Sorry, I'm doing it this way, everyone. But so this is the customer service. And then on the back, it has this really nice thing like visit the Click and Request app. What would make it even better is if it was a QR code or something like that, but essentially making a business card like this for the Bike Walk Commission that draws people to our webpage, which we're also working on. Another idea, in addition to business cards, is a marketing platform so that we can continue to grow our subscribers. We've reached the limit on Google, so we do need to investigate options. I know, Elizabeth, you were looking at options for tying our website and marketing, or email marketing, I should say, excuse me.
And I did a bit of research last week. I don't have it. I'm going to look at a piece of paper because I wrote this down there. And I think my question was like, what are sort of next steps here? But two things. I found a few affordable email marketing software, and like they're nothing. The ones that I'm familiar with are so out of price range. But there's like a lower tier that gets us what we need, that we can send a few emails a month to like our full email list. They seem to range in price from like, I think I saw one that was maybe only like $10 a month for this. And then there's like some tools in there, and it's like a sort of like an all-in-one software platform. It's not MailChimp or any, HubSpot or something, but would get the job done. And then I saw some that went up to like $15, $20 a month. I think I identified four, and was going to sort of make a little kind of break it down by like pros and cons and then cost for these. And then on the website side of things, in my work, I've made Squarespace websites, and it costs about like, I think that last I checked, it's about $170 a year. They have templates. It's very customizable. And I think like relatively affordable compared to some other website builders. So I was going to put forth those two things. And with our deadline, like I can get moving on breaking down the costs. But I guess I'm unclear about like if we identify a tool, like say we want to get Squarespace for our website, how would we go about paying for that? Are there rules that we need to follow through the city that we should be aware of?
That all sounds great. I mean, the process on our end, and Greg, chime in here if I'm mistaken, is as a commission, we evaluate our options. Oh, for actually, I don't know. For vendors, I know we have to get a W-2 and have at least 2 or 3. Actually, Greg, this is going to be a question for you. How does it work for marketing? And
so we would need a W-9 form for
a
whatever
W-9.
that vendor would be. The up to $2,500, because yes, it is the commission who has your budget spent annually, but you still need to follow the city's purchasing guidelines. So up to $2,500, you just need at least one quote. Anything from 2,500 to just under $5,000, you need at least two quotes, and anything above $5,000, you'll need three quotes.
Okay.
So that does take, just keep that in mind when when you're trying to buy items, and if you're looking at something like from a subscription base, that we really haven't had to do that before, so I'll have to look into how that will be managed, but I'm sure we can make it work.
Yeah, and all of these would be like a few $100s a year maximum. And
Yeah.
I think any software that bills monthly, they also usually offer an annual fee. So I think, and we could maybe so it sounds like I would only need to get one quote for either website platform or email platform,
Yeah.
given that
Yeah.
it will be maybe $200.
Yeah, no, one quote should be sufficient, and I just what I just reiterate. I know we have a lot of new members on the commission, so just to ensure to keep that in mind, and I don't want to keep saying it, but you have till June 30th to spend your budget, and to date right now, you guys really haven't spent any money of your budget spend for 2026, for 25-26 fiscal year. So it's vital that if you are going to spend your money, I highly, highly recommend by next month you are spend a high percentage of your budget. Because once you start getting into May, we don't buy things, if you're buying swag or whatever, we don't usually purchase things right away. We order, and then once it's delivered, we review it, and then we pay the invoice. So we need to expend all of the money by June 30th, not just buy things by June 30th. And we say it every year, but we always seem to get to, June meeting, and it's, what do we buy? We need to spend this. So I'm really, really trying to avoid doing that again this year.
I have an idea of how to spend money. I'm just kidding. I usually get in trouble for those sorts of ideas. There's an organization that in this quest to kind of find a potential speaker or a representative to come and discuss, some of our interests, whether that be bicycling or walking, I stumbled upon this group called Girl Trek. Is anyone familiar? It is I guess like a health group. Okay, here's their About Me. We're a global movement of Black women leveraging the historic legacy of walking and the power of self-care as a pathway to heal and transform our lives. We believe walking 30 minutes a day is a radical act of self-love and the root of a cultural revolution. So they have like 1.5 million members, I think, nationwide or worldwide, whatever. I think it's nationwide that I was looking at. And I, found a few of their founders on Instagram and wondered about reaching out and maybe hosting some sort of event that we could reach out to, maybe the Black Caucus and the city council, and have them reach out to their members. I know even the director of the library system itself is a Black woman, and she would be able to put her weight behind this in terms of organizing and getting community involvement. I think many of us are also familiar with Romney Donald, who is an advocate here in Norwalk that's very enmeshed with the Black community. And I think it's something that could get a lot of people out, that and could be a way to get an inspiring speaker as well that could kind of touch a lot of our local folks.
And is it walking like hiking with trek in the name, or is it just walking anywhere?
Just walking anywhere. And it seems like they have a database too that you can kind of sign up and you're a trekker, and it'll like connect you to local trekkers in your neighborhood as well. Like local to you.
Is it a membership sort of thing, or is it we would sponsor, or how would we be involved as the Bike Walk Commission?
I think it would be sponsoring a member of their leadership or preferably even a founder to come and talk about the movement, maybe how to form our own chapter here. Looking to get people involved in that way. But otherwise, just kind of a motivational speaker event for, building community ties in your area that could be as simple as just going for like a weekly walk.
I really like that idea. Would you be open to bringing a quote and a little more information to our next meeting?
Absolutely. I would love to. I was just kind of looking for a green light to reach out as a representative of the Bike Walk Commission and see what I could get moving and shaking there.
I think it's a great cause and opportunity. I'm all for it.
Yeah, and if
I
anyone
am.
wants to look into it, it's Girl Trek, one word, check them out.
Sweet. Okay. Great idea, Christina. Thank you. Um, anyone else with thoughts or things that we should be spending our budget on that they feel they could bring with a quote to our next meeting? I know in our educational subcommittee, I spoke about educational opportunities, speaker opportunities. I'm still pursuing that as an opportunity for someday this year. So that would be a really big opportunity for a larger event or collaborative event with either the schools or the police department, something like that. If there was
Right.
spend that we could have for events like Earth Day, Wall Street, Rebel Daughter Day, Derby Day, Pride in the Park, the Nice Festival, Oyster Festival. I know those were things that we talked about, or the Rowayton Civic Association, engaging with different areas. It could be for these events, they might have fees, just thinking ahead, looking at that. Mm,
I think what Christina presented, I'm intrigued by what she presented and what I'm intrigued by what quote she gets because I think that would hit a couple of those things that we've talked about, right? Like engaging with a diversity of communities, but then also not just spending our budget on like swag. Like this is more like a speakers. I think this is, I hope, some good things come out of that. And then I don't know, like ideally, like it'd be cool to have the city nerd guy come and talk in Norwalk, but I don't know how much it costs to get him here. And I know he'll be in New York like in April, but I don't know how do we get in touch with him to be able to maybe take the Metro North up here and maybe have a talk. I don't know.
on that note too, Jerry Silber will be presenting in Bridgeport, sponsored by the city of Stratford. So that I think is coming up soon, and that would be a great if we can get in contact with him. He probably knows the city nerd guys. Maybe he can give us a weigh in if we go attend his talk again. I know some of us on this call have attended in the past multiple times, and it would be great to get someone here in Norwalk to do an opportunity like that. But I agree with what you said, Manny. I think Christina, what you suggested with Girl Trek is a great cause and a good step in that direction too. So that's
I'm hoping
something
it
I
could
look forward to
even
hearing more
lead
about.
to something with legs, to use a fitting analogy. If we could get, a chapter or a group started or blossomed out of that. Like as we're sitting here, I'm just thinking like, what if it's at the library? What if we go for a walk on the Norwalk River Valley Trail right out the back door afterwards? It could be a whole thing that is not just a talk, but, movement as well.
Definitely. I like that idea.
I love that too. Sort of on the same vein of speakers, I thought of a potential speaker. I think he lives in the Hudson Valley, but is from Connecticut. And I just randomly remembered this story I read in the New York Times magazine where this writer had walked the Leatherman Trail and like wrote about the Leatherman. Did you read that, Manny?
No, but I'm really
You
I
should.
really
It's so
I
good.
love the Leatherman, so that's why I'm like,
Yeah, you should read this piece. I'll send it to you after. It was really moving and a beautiful piece about walking and it's like his personal story and I did think like I wonder if he would give a talk and we could pay an honorarium. And I could reach out to him and see if that's something that he does and what he would charge for that. I don't know that like I think we would also need to figure out a venue for something like that, but it could also be cool.
Or
I-
on public
I'm-
library, it's not a bad bet.
Yeah.
If-
No, love the
Mhm.
library. Would love to, would love to do it at the library. Yeah, and I think that's also something that could have legs in our community and beyond. I'm sure there are many Leatherman enthusiasts that would come.
What was the Letterman? What was this one?
Leatherman. Yeah, the like
Leatherman.
Leatherman, I don't even
1800s
know how
guy, the guy from the
Yeah.
1800s who would walk around like
a big circle.
Westchester and Fairfield County and other parts,
Mhm.
Litchfield County.
Like all the way to Hartford. So he
Wow.
went back and he traced his trail over the course of many months or a year or something. I'll send it around.
Perfect. Yeah. If you feel good up to reaching out and seeing if he would come speak, I think that's another great idea. Any other thoughts on our budget for now? I think we have some good quotes for our next meeting. And we will start spending, Greg. Thank you for encouraging us to do so. Or also, I guess, open to more ideas as we go. But kind of on our budget and grants, I wanted to bring back around the conversation about our Norwalk Bike Walk Award. We spoke earlier in our last meeting about a community recognition piece or some sort of community advocate that stands out based on our commission, deserving of an award for the work that they put in, building infrastructure, educating the community, advocating for, pedestrian and cyclist safety, and just overall presence in Norwalk. So I'm curious if any of our commissioners have someone in mind that they would like to nominate for this award.
This is right off the dome. Right off the dome. Possibility, I don't know who the person is, but what about whoever it is that organizes the run group that runs weekly out of Space Cat? I know
Los
that
Runners.
is, yeah, Los Runners. Whoever organizes that, I feel like that's a really great way to bring the community together, to support a local establishment. That's the way you build community ties, by doing the same thing over and over again at a set time. I think that that's kind of tangible. Also, and this is a real person. I mean, not that the Los Runners person isn't a real person. I just don't know who it is. Tony Bacciagalupo. I'm butchering his last name. I know I am. I'm sorry, Tony. I love you, man. But he is extremely involved civically. And also this past summer, he hosted and advertised every single bike party through Sustainable Streets Norwalk. Again, that's kind of my same criteria for the Los Runners person. It's community engagement on a reoccurring, standard, predictable, fun, joyous basis.
I have to say I don't know how to pronounce Tony's last name either, Baccialupo, but those are both great nominations. I appreciate that. Greg, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I think just before we start getting into to nominees, which is great. I think the biggest thing is to come up with the award, and I think just establish like a name for the award as well, and maybe like use some of the budget to to get a plaque or a statue, whatever have you. There's some municipalities that have like the golden spoke, like for a bike wheel. So something clever and maybe use some of the budget to develop the award and have it annually. So, the nominees, you guys can discuss that, off public meeting, off camera. And then, this way, you can come with a list and narrow that down. But I think the first thing that needs to be done is the development of the actual award itself, and have that kind of solidified before any nominees are actually listed.
Considered. Okay, yeah. Good point, Greg.
Because the award's not established yet. So you don't have the award
Right.
established, and what are you winning?
Is there a way that we can like submit on a like brainstorm on a sheet, like just names and what it might look like, and
Names, criteria. You mean names of potential winners, Manny, or names of the
of like what the
potential
award
titles
is
of the
called?
award? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Like just
Like-
like what's the I don't know, because I know we can probably mull over it for like an hour, right? And we kind of we're at the end of the meeting, but then also like I don't know, what were you thinking, Emily? I'm sorry.
No, I think I was also kind of opening up a dialogue about what the award is, because I think it really is up to us to kind of decide what we want this award to encompass. And I liked hearing, Christina, who came to your mind about leaders in Norwalk, and especially, whether it's the director of Los Renners or the community focused Tony, like it's really up to us how we want to present this award. And I think, Greg, to your point, it would make sense to have a definite, just I guess, guideline of what the award is meant to, highlight in our kind of, I guess, purpose of it. So I think, there's criteria that I haven't really decided on. And I think looking to other cities or entities of what they're doing, like the Golden Spoke that you mentioned, kind of building a better idea of what the award is really meant to do. But I think it should also align with our mission as the Bike Walk Commission and what we're focused on doing, which is really, not educating, but, improving infrastructure in Norwalk and prioritizing cyclists and pedestrians, especially in safety. So with that, I guess what would make the most sense is having a definition of the award and a name of the award, like you said, and then we'll send that to our commissioners and have each commissioner nominate one person, or if they feel like nominating a person, and then from there we can bring it up again in our next meeting. Does that sound about right?
And to give food for thought too, I was clicking around the League of American Bicyclists website, and they have an annual award called the Bicycle Friendly America Award, and they have an entire page listing out the criteria for that award, and it's really kind of succinct and nice. They've called it the 5 E's. So they've got equity, engineering, education, encouragement, and evaluation and planning, which I think is like a good start of the framework. And it's not so like bicycle specific either. It can easily be applied to both like biking and walking.
That sounds great. Okay. I will work on sending this to our commissioners so we can do a follow-up, but I think that is the next step. So we'll define the award, and then from there we'll bring nominees to the next meeting. And then, like you said, Greg, if it makes sense to we'll get a quote for a plaque or what the award kind of looks like, and we'll try and make this, an evergreen award to happen every year, because I think it is important to highlight. And like you brought to the table, Christina, there are so many great individuals doing great work. So I want to make sure everyone gets recognized at some point. So that sounds good, if that sounds good to everyone else. Okay. I don't know why that's not working. Okay. Moving on, I know we're almost at time here. The bike friendly community application. Thank you for bringing that up with the bike friendly city. So I know Jody Trendler from Sustainability and Resilience mentioned she had wanted to work on the application. I know our next steps are continuing the application. I think it's due in June, but let me make sure that's correct. Henley City. Because if it's due in May, that's a problem. But anyway, the next step here for us is to have a meeting with TMP. Okay, so it is June 17th, 2026. So I know we have a past application. Greg, if it's okay with you, if it makes sense, can we tentatively offline confirm a time and point of contact with TMP to review our last application and just make note, like a quick meeting of what would need to be updated and how to divide up the next steps there? And then if there are commissioners interested in working on this application, can you let me know in this call so we can coordinate that meeting?
We could. I'm not going to say no. I just we're very we're very busy right now. And we could certainly schedule some time to look through it. I just don't know if we're going to have the availability, because it's been a while since we actually looked at the application, what has to be updated. And if it is a big lift to update it, I just don't know if we have the staff resources right now to do that. But we can certainly schedule a short meeting just to look at it.
If it's something too where we went through preliminarily and we highlighted the pieces that we know need to be updated, so we bring to the table, specific things that we know TMP would need to work on, and just get like not even, saying we go through all the next steps, but just like an overview of what the work would entail and what hours those would be. Is there someone on the TMP team that would be a good fit for this sort of project that we could start having that conversation with?
I think it's a multitude of us, because there is obviously, like, Nell would be able to assist with like the data, but as well as far as like the infrastructure that has been incorporated and any of the complete streets items that are incorporated, there's myself and a few others that could assist with that. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just like one member of the team that would be able to assist. It would have to be a number of us, just to ensure that everything makes its way into the application. That should. That kind of sets us apart from what happened, from what our previous application was. Because I think that was the intention, was to ensure that we don't want to get the same ranking we got last time. We want to ensure we made a measurable advancement from last time. And if we didn't, then, it's not worth the juice ain't worth the squeeze to go after if we didn't make that move forward. So, but yeah, if you guys can just take a look through it, highlight the sections that you can do, highlight the sections that you need assistance with, and then we can kind of go from there and see if we can take on that extra lift.
Perfect. Okay. I think that's something that we can do. And I'm anticipating, I know we've made improvements because we have more sidewalks. We're going to have another certified instructor with the city. It's definitely something I think we can do, and especially with the help of Jody as well. Is there a commissioner that wants to assist on taking the lead on this application? I'm happy to take a first stab at it, but I could use some help.
I'm here for you, Emily.
Thank you, Christina. Anyone else? Okay. Greg, I will be in touch. I will also, if that's okay with you, I'll CC Nell and see once we, take our look. I'm hoping by before next meeting, we'll have an update for you on that, because I know the deadline will fast approach. And then if there is any associated cost, we can spend budget there too.
I'll help out with that too, Emily.
Thank you, Nick. Excellent. Okay, I will add you on here. Okay. Moving right along. Okay, upcoming walks and community events. I'm happy to share. Well, actually, Jalea, I'll hand this over if you are still here. This is your event coming up, and we're super stoked for it.
Yeah, so the health department has partnered with CT State to So we have Norwalker walking maps for anyone who doesn't know. And there are maps throughout the city of Norwalk with different loops on them, with different routes, including different distances. So we had an existing map with CT State that was kind of outdated, and there were 2 loops on it. And the college really wanted to make loops that were ADA accessible for folks in wheelchairs or students with any kind of disabilities, or even just the public or people with strollers. So we extended the map. So the 2 existing loops are still on there on the map, but there are two new ADA accessible loops. So that is being published now. And then CT State is hosting like a bunch of walks starting in April, I believe. Might actually be the end of March. They're working on the flyer still. It's not finalized. I'm leading one of the walks on April 23rd with the new loop, the ADA accessible loop. So that loop is going, the Norwalker map will be up on the website, updated probably by tomorrow. I'm just waiting on the Spanish translation to be finalized. My colleague is taking a look at it, and then it'll be good to go. So other leaders are leading walks, there's actual staff at CT State on the other dates. I'm just leading April 23rd. But if you guys are interested in attending or bringing attention to it or advertising, that would be great. And possibly partnering, if any of you are really interested in leading any walks, maybe we can have a conversation with Tracy Walker to get that done too. So yeah, thanks, Emily.
Thank you, Jalea. That would be great. And, I know we're trying to connect with the student body there, so that's a great opportunity to do that. I'm so happy to hear about the ADA accessible path as well. If I'm available, I will absolutely try and make it there. Do you know what time specifically on the 23rd? Is it during lunch hour or something?
It's at 10 a.m. And all of the walks are usually at 10 or 11 a.m. But I think mine is 10 a.m. that day.
Okay. But thank you for sharing, and yeah, we're happy to promote it on our end. We'll share it in our email newsletter, and we can share it on social in English and Spanish. And if you have some graphics or anything that you already have that the school has made, or you're doing with it's with Tracy Walker, you mentioned, with the wellness committee there, right?
Yes, correct. With the wellness committee.
Okay. If they have anything that they send you, or if you have something you want to share with us, we'll get it circulated on our end. Absolutely.
Thanks, Emily. I'm planning on posting the new map anyways, just like on our Facebook. I'll tag the Bike Walk Commission to reshare, just to bring attention that the new loops are available. And then once I get the flyer about all of the walks, I'll share that with you guys as well.
Perfect. Thank you. The other event here is the Norwalk for Mental Health event. And I know Jalea and I spoke about this a little bit earlier. Saturday, May 2nd is the event. And I know it's hosted by the Positive Directions team. Jalea, I don't know if you want to quickly, touch on that.
Yeah, so it's another great community event that's been held for a few years in a row. It's really an event to bring awareness to mental health, and the Bike Walk Commission kind of fits in perfectly since we're trying to get people to bike and walk in Norwalk. And part of the benefit is it improves your mental health as well. So Margaret Watt from Positive Directions, there's a ton of people attending. She's offered the Bike Walk Commission to do a table just to bring awareness to the commission, and also, for the community to connect with us. So she's invited us to table and then also to help lead a walk. So they do the event where, folks can walk around to each table, and then they lead a walk for mental health at the end of the event. I'm not sure if they're doing it at the end this year or the beginning. Sometimes they've been playing with the times. But basically everybody just walks along East Avenue. And it's just a nice little walk to bring awareness to the event and mental health. So hopefully that would be great if the Bike Walk Commission, you guys can attend. I think it would be an awesome event. and it usually has a pretty good turnout if there's no rain.
Perfect. So it sounds like it's not quite a bike valet, it's a walk. So but you said there may be cyclists there, but just having a presence as the Bike Walk Commission, I mean, I'm very interested in adding that to our list of events. I wouldn't add it to our list of events for a bike valet. It sounds
Yeah.
like just because the purpose is tabling and then a walk. Does that
Yes,
sound right?
correct. That's correct,
Okay.
Emily. I don't think a bike valet would be the best thing for this event, but definitely kind of, emphasizing the walking piece.
Perfect. Are there any commissioners interested in signing up or being involved in this event, tabling for this event right off the hand?
That's on May 2nd.
On Saturday, May
Yeah,
2nd.
correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested.
I might
And
be
I believe
interested.
the event's 9 to 2, if I'm not mistaken.
2 p.m. Okay, perfect. Christina, Manny, I'm also going to sign myself up as well.
I think I'd
Yeah,
be interested too toward
Oh, sorry.
the second half.
Yes, I
Perfect.
second that, Libby.
Okay.
If you want to do it together, take a shift for the second half. I'm definitely down.
I'm more interested for the first half.
Okay,
That's great.
perfect. Great. That's more than enough. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Jalea. Okay, last item on the agenda. I'm sorry, we're a little over time. The transportation, health, complete streets, and other project updates. Greg, any TMP updates for us?
No, not at this time. Hopefully looks like the weather is starting to turn for the better. So hopefully by next month we'll have some further updates. But a lot of items in the works right now, obviously with all the projects under design. With the public information meetings we had over the winter and the fall as well. So and with all the grants that we were lucky enough to receive this past year. So we're moving a lot of them forward, and we'll have updates later this year for public information meetings, which we obviously welcome all commissioners to be in attendance for and promote these projects.
Perfect. Anything else? Oh, last item here, commissioner announcements and future agenda items. So I know Becca wasn't able to join, but she did want to report that Pride in the Park is on June 13th, and she is in contact and getting the ball rolling for valet. She also is reaching out to the Oyster Fest to see what we can do to help encourage folks to bike, walk, and take transit instead of driving. And my understanding is that we're not at this time offering valet, but seeing if there are other opportunities to encourage the Seaport Association to offer some sort of bike parking opportunity, which I know exists in Veterans Park somewhat, but it would be nice if there were opportunities for the Bike Walk Commission to work with the Seaport Association to encourage, like Becca said, more people to walk, bike, and get there via public transit versus driving and parking. But any other commissioner announcements or future agenda items that we haven't talked about so far? Okay.
I did have
Then
a question, not necessarily an announcement, and I'm sorry, it'll be really quick. In looking at the previous spending plan, there was a line item for bicycle mechanic training, and that was listed at $65. Where were we getting that for $65?
So I believe that can be answered by Becca, who signed up for the course. That was through either REI or it was through one of our local shops, Smart Cycles, I
I
believe.
did look
It
up
was-
Smart Cycles, and and all I could find was a one-on-one 4-hour course for $400, and so that's why I was like, "Where's 65?" So maybe that's REI, but all right, I'll reach out to Becca. Thank you.
Becca should have an answer for you, but that would be nice to have if you wanted to get a quote for our next meeting on that. I'm
Yeah,
open to that as
absolutely.
well.
I'll have that.
Great.
Yeah, Smart
Perfect.
Cycles was going to do like a 1-on-6 or what have you for like, I don't know, 800. Like that might be worth putting into the budget if we've got room for it, you know?
Yeah, if we all could do it.
Right. Oh, that would be a great idea. Yeah. Okay.
I'll give a ring a ding ding and see if I can leverage us being a city commission and do it for the greater good.
Oh, ring a ding ding. Perfect.
But also,
Uh, oh, what was that?
we've got money to spend. So if it's like
A
3
few
digits,
hundred, yeah, I'll
you
negotiate
know.
a fair price.
Oh, I
Manny?
think one last thing I want to add, being that we've got money to spend, and I know we're trying to be more judicious, sorry, with swag, but I do want before Earth Day, I do want to take a trip to Yankee Doodle Garage to do some inventory. Maybe that'll be a March project for sure, maybe early March project. So if anybody wants to join me, maybe within the next 2 to 3 weeks,
Yes,
I'll see if we
absolutely.
can
I
get
have never
access.
been there, so call me. I want to check it out.
Okay.
Let's get it on my calendar because I actually I have a tab in here for our inventory and I started it and I just never finished, but I would love to get that written out so we know exactly what we have. I think that's a great idea, Manny. And Christina, yeah, let's coordinate. I know the only barrier is that we need to coordinate with Greg or the gentleman at the oh my God, the Yankee
Brian,
Doodle Garage. Yeah,
so
Brian.
Brian Lutz, who's our parking director, who, if none of us can be in attendance, and one of the parking authority members can also open the door as well.
Perfect. Okay. With that, that is everything on our agenda. Can I entertain a motion to adjourn? Manny?
I second.
Thank you, Nick. All in favor? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you all.